do, but we haven't contained. There's probably going to be some deceased in there, but we don't need any more from out here. So I called out and I said, get these kids out.
Don't tread on me. Those are words that I stand by, homie. It doesn't mean I'm gangster. It doesn't mean I'm country. It means that my life is in my hands only. I don't have money for security. I don't have armed guards that I keep snug around me. You don't think I deserve protection like you do, and that means you don't give a fuck about me. Gated community, that's what you live in. Hatred and mutiny, that's what we live in. So come down here and hang with us for a minute. See if you leave with the same fucking opinion.
I know there's probably victims in there, and with the shots I heard, I know there's probably somebody's going to be deceased.
Former Uvalde School Police Chief Pete Arredondo heard for the first time the day after the May 24th shooting, attempting to explain his actions. In new video obtained by CNN, Arredondo telling investigators he assumed students in the room with the shooter were already dead, so he chose to clear children from surrounding classrooms. We now know he was wrong. At least 3 victims were pulled out of the room alive, who later died from their injuries.
My first thought is that we need to vacate. We haven't contained, and I know this is horrible. I know this is what our training tells us to do, but we haven't contained. There's probably going to be some deceased in there, but we don't need any more from out here. So I called out and I said, get these kids out. Whatever I told them, bust those windows, get them out.
Stunning admissions while being questioned by the FBI and Texas Rangers.
Throughout this deal, I was trying to make communication with him.
Communicate. Can you hear me, sir?
Arredondo explains he kept trying to talk to the shooter, and for the first time we learned that he heard the gunman, alone in a room full of children, reloading his weapon. And still, he took no action that stopped the gunman.
I'm certain I heard him reload. I heard something over the pin. Obviously, we all know what that sounds like. Not with a pin, I'm sorry, with a clip. I'm assuming he reloaded, but I know he did something with it. I did hear that at one time. I don't know if there was a second. He never responded at all.
Now considered one of the worst law enforcement failures in recent memory, Arredondo knew that criticism would come.
We're going to get scrutinized. I'm expecting that. We're going to get scrutinized why we didn't go in there.
Days later, Arredondo would be labeled the incident commander by the Texas State Police. They say he was the officer in charge and the man to blame for the deadly delay. Who is the incident commander, sir?
The chief of police of the Consolidated Independent School District is the incident commander. It's his school, he's the chief of police, okay?
Arredondo, who presided over a 6-person police force before he was terminated in August, declined to comment for this story. Through his lawyer, he has previously denied that he was ever in charge and said he never issued any orders. A CNN analysis of never-before-made public body camera footage and newly obtained phone calls reveal Arredondo repeatedly directed the officers around him not to enter the room with the gunman. This is at 11:40 a.m., just 7 minutes after the shooting began.
Hey, this is Arredondo. It's an emergency right now. I'm inside the building. With this man. He has an AR-15. He shot a whole bunch of times. He is in one room. I need a lot of firepower, so I need this building surrounded. It's surrounded with as many AR-15s as possible.
As more officers with body cameras responded to the scene, we can hear Arredondo start to talk to the shooter.
Sir, this is Arredondo with the School District Police. Can you please put your firearm down? We don't want anyone else hurt, sir.
Arredondo can be seen trying to open the door to an adjacent classroom while giving commands to other officers.
We're going to clear out before we reach material. We got it. Since they clear this room, I'm going to verify what's been vacated dash before we do any kind of reaching. Time's on our side right now. We want kids in there. We got to save the lives of the other.
Time was not on his side, and it reflects a mindset that goes directly against active shooter training. The policy emphasizes speed for any officer to go immediately towards the sound of gunfire and stop the shooter. Arredondo last completed the training in December 2021, 5 months before the Uvalde massacre. At about 12:12 p.m., a crucial transmission from the Uvalde dispatcher comes over the radios in the hallway. informing the officers that a child in the room with the gunman called 911 and says she's surrounded by victims. The dispatch blares within earshot of Arredondo. He doesn't seem to hear it because he's talking, repeating instructions for officers not to enter.
Guys, hold on. We're going to clear the building first, and then we'll tackle it. But we're going to have these classrooms first.
All these are empty people.
He's verifying right now.
The officers actually turn down their radios so they can hear Arredondo give the order.
Guys, turn your radios down, please.
It seems clear to the men on this side of the hallway Arredondo is in charge.
No entry till the chief of police gives you permission there.
And when a nearby officer suggests that a border patrol agent looks like they are about to go in,
You ready for friendlies? No, wait, nobody entry.
Arredondo said he assumed border patrol agents at the other end of the hallway would be the ones to make the breach, since they had rifles and he and his men only had pistols.
So I know those are BP, and I know those are probably Bortac. Smart thing for us to do, obviously with a handgun, is we need to let these guys make entry when it's that time.
I gotta go over here.
But it wasn't just handguns. As body camera footage clearly shows, there were plenty of heavily armed officers on scene. Some in the very first moments after the shooting began. Arredondo, for the first time, also explaining why he thought the door was locked, admitting he never tried to open it.
I have it in my picture in my mind that I saw that hammer in there, and usually when that's there, that's locked. Man, 90% of the time.
One of these, okay.
We now know investigators believe it was unlocked, and there was no need to wait for a key. At the end of the interview, Arredondo says that rather than breaching the door, he even considered trying to shoot through the walls to kill the gunman.
The thought crossed my mind to start shooting through that wall, which has been stupid, but you start thinking, there's already somebody deceased in there. You want to start, but obviously we don't ever train to shoot through walls. It's not something that, that's probably the smartest idea, but you always question yourself.
Shimon Prokopez, CNN, Uvalde, Texas.